more concerned about the movie than who's in it.
Yeah, but you didn't get it. How does that even set up anything that I'm asking
I
for?
watched Todd McFarlane on the thing. He said some stuff about it.
So that's you don't even sound like you're ready for it. Is this a back at it again?
Oh yeah, I need a joke, don't I? I'll have a joke.
We're ill prepared.
I have a joke.
No, we're ill prepared.
This is always a back. It's always a back at it again, except if it's Battlecat.
Is it? Back at it again like we never left. Coke and Dank. Dank and Coke. It's the Lethal Weapons.
Hey, Dank!
Hey, Coke. 2 beers in.
So there's 3 guys at the gates of heaven, right? Waiting to get in.
Right.
And St. Peter says, all right, listen, we're running a room up here, so we can only take 1 of you. So whoever's got the most tragic story, like whoever had the saddest death,
right,
can be let in.
Sure.
So how did you get here? The guy was like, well, I had this sneaky suspicion that my wife was cheating on me. Right? Mm-hmm. So I pretended to leave one day, and then I came back, and I run in the bedroom, and there she is naked. And I go, where is he? Where is he? And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So I run out to the balcony, and don't I see a pair of hands hanging on the edge of the balcony, right? Mm-hmm. So I stomp the feet. He falls down into the bushes down below. I see him. He's starting to get up. He barely phased him. So I went back inside, grabbed the refrigerator, hauled it over the side of the balcony, and crushed him with it.
Okay.
I felt so bad that I committed suicide.
Right.
Wow. So that was guy 1. Right. St. Peter goes, wow, that's pretty messed up, dude.
That's heavy.
Yeah, that's heavy. All right. He goes, how about you, the second guy? He goes, well, I was doing some work on my balcony, and I slipped. Mm-hmm. And I fell down and grabbed the balcony of the guys below me in the apartment.
Right.
And this lunatic comes over and starts stomping on my hands, right? So I fell down in the bushes. I wasn't dead, thankfully. I fell in the bushes. And then he goes back in and grabs his refrigerator and throws it out and lands on me.
Right.
And I die.
Right.
So he goes, oh, wow, I see I see where this is going, yeah. He goes, okay, third guy, how about you? He goes, well, I'm sitting naked in the refrigerator. That's it.
It's a long setup.
Yeah, that was an old joke. That wasn't a dad joke. That was a joke.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Is it?
Yes, it was.
All right.
The point of it is...
Is there?
The point of it... I never fucking told you that. The point of it is...
I would have said that anyway.
Yeah. The point of it is, 2 of them ended up going down to hell, and only 1 got into heaven.
Did it say which one?
No. So it leads up to your imagination. Who do you think?
Oh, God. You should have just told me a knock fucking joke.
Who do you think?
I don't care.
Anyways, we're talking about hell today.
Are we? I thought we were talking about refrigerators.
No.
You should have told me your refrigerator's running joke.
Is your refrigerator running?
I hope so. I have soft cheeses and and new meats in there. I want to eat.
I saw this meme where the guy's like, anybody who's making commercials about cheese, stop making commercials. We're still gonna buy it. You don't need to buy it.
I don't think they're getting new fans with that, and I don't think
cheese is not gonna lose fans.
Returning fans are like, you know what? This is the final year for cheese. I think we're gonna find something else to put things on. Yeah. You're in it for cheese if you still got cheese. That joke would have been 10 times better.
That's a great. Well, you just reminded me when you said soft cheese in your refrigerator.
Soft cheese
and no naked men, right?
And new meat. So I don't know. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know what's in the fridge.
New meat.
So new meat's gonna be a thing. Call our fans new meat. You guys you're either soft cheese or you're a new meat. I think we discovered a new fucking segment that we're gonna use now. Because both of those could be delicious or it could be terrible. Yeah. So we don't know which is which yet.
Soft cheese and
you
new
may
meat.
want to be a soft cheese.
Who are you? Soft cheese or new meat?
See, like that's a whole other podcast right now. Because theoretically, I want to be a new meat, but I don't like the sound of new meat.
No.
And I prefer like a medium to hard cheese to be a soft cheese. You're definitely a rare breed, or a rare breed. No, that's a joke.
Yeah, wasn't as good as my.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You'll let us know.
Yeah.
Our soft cheeses out there are new meats. Will let us know what's good from bad. But we're here doing Across the Pages.
Across the Pages is
exciting.
Yeah,
we
continuing the across the even though there's only a second one.
We've been doing it. We just haven't noticed.
Yeah.
We haven't pulled it together.
Yeah, we haven't pulled it together.
We've been constantly watching and reading things that are
connected. Absolutely, yeah.
We've just not sewn it together and made it seamless as this 6-minute intro for this episode.
Yeah. The last one we did were ladies.
The later we record, the more off the rails we go.
Yeah. This one is about hell. So the
boy.
Yeah, Hellboy. Hellboy.
That's a joke you don't want to lead with.
Oh man, that's a good one.
God damn, you would have got me on that.
Hellboy and Hellspawn.
What does Flavor Flav say when he goes to the afterlife?
What's that?
What is this? Hell boy. See? Look at that.
You should do one.
No, I'm not.
Never. You can start with the Hey Coke.
No. If I have to Hey Coke you, I'm out of here. If I Hey Coke you, I'm tapping my nose. Hey Coke.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I go for the nose candy. I don't endorse nose candy by any means, nor have I tried it. But I think the joke is hilarious.
This is an NHL player, a Russian guy. In May, there was a video of him in like a hotel room,
right.
And there was white powder on this table that he was passed out next to. He's like, I don't do drugs, I've never done drugs, all this stuff.
Right.
Just this week or last week, IHF suspended him for having cocaine in the system.
You run that risk. It's a fun life, but it's dangerous.
What people do with money, eh?
Fuck.
Anyways, we're talking about Spawn and Hellboy today.
They sniff it. Because they're awesome. And often overlooked.
They've been around for a long time, so...
As hell.
Yeah. Spawn since 92. Hellboy was 93.
So they're OGs.
They're OGs in the game.
To the 90 game.
Yeah. Hellboy's had 3 movies. Spawn's had 1.
So far.
Yeah.
Spawn's on its way for the reboot.
But, yeah.
Or the sequel. They're definitely not calling it a sequel.
No. And,
thank God.
Actually, McFarlane's actually directing this one. Which is interesting. It's his first time directing.
Damn.
Yeah, but he
be prepared for the reboot in 2025.
Yeah, he was watching. His whole thing is he's gonna make it very dark, very serious.
Why don't you just call Robert Rodrigo?
Well, the reason he
Rodriguez.
He was explaining that the reason he's directing is because they purposely kept it at a lower budget. They could have done like 80 million budget, but this was a 20 million budget.
Right. So
when he brought it to the studio, he figured they were going to bring in some new young director. He goes, well, why don't I just do it? I'm not young, but I'm still new. My first movie, whatever, I'll do it. I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
He's like,
and he's too close to the property.
He's very close. Yeah, it'd be good for him to oversee it and things.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to be the best costume I've ever seen in Spawn, though I've only seen it in print, cartoon, and with this movie that we're about to talk about.
Yeah. How many? Do you know how many issues Hellboy's had? I just want
a lot.
If he's been since '93, he's been there for a long time. Because I know
this has been Seth MacFarlane's meat and potatoes. Like
Hellboy.
Oh, my mistake.
Because I don't know. I was leading up to Spawn's 300th is coming out September 4th.
Fair enough.
And it's like 27 years of.
And so, Spawn is to Image as Hellboy is to Dark Horse.
Oh yeah.
But who's the creator for the Hellboy kind of franchise? And
Mike Mignola.
So
writer artist Mike. It's funny because look at that, writer artist Mike Mignola and then writer artist Todd McFarlane.
Yeah. And he's still doing. So the comic I read is still Mike Mignola. So still definitely hands on.
And it's still. I know there's.
They're getting paychecks off the movies, but
with Spawn,
how close they want to be.
Spawn was interesting because there's McFarlane started writing it, and he writes it most of the time. Mm-hmm. But I know, like, in preparation for this, I actually read like the first like 20 or 30 issues just to kind of like I went right through it.
Good work. Show off.
Well, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but there was a lot of guest writers, like good ones too.
Issue number 3. Yeah. Actually, he used his left hand when he's supposed to be right-handed.
Yeah, it's
guest writers or guest.
No, guest writers. Like Alan Moore did one issue.
Oh, nice. Just one though.
He did one, and then he did a couple others. Like he did one for Spawn, and then he did another like Violator miniseries.
Sure.
Neil Gaiman did a Angela miniseries, and he created some other characters. There's a big legal problem with McFarlane and Gaiman about Medieval Spawn, Angela, the Fallen Angel, right, and Cagliostro.
And who they
huge legal battle,
and who they actually belong to.
Yeah. He ended up getting the rights to Angela, and then sold her to Marvel. So she's actually in Marvel
and then never like used them again in Spawn.
No, they're not allowed to. She's been part of the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that, which is interesting. But
doesn't belong there.
No, but again, like Grant Morrison wrote for them. Alan Moore said, Neil Gaiman. Like, there's a whole bunch of like guest writers.
Yeah.
Frank Miller did some writing for them. Like, this is the early to mid '90s. So all these guys were on the come up. Well, some of them were established. Grant Morrison was established.
While Seth was still doing the artwork for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes
and then Greg Capullo came in to do the artwork. So he did the artwork for Todd McFarlane. You said Seth MacFarlane.
I'm gonna do that a lot. Get used to it.
For Todd McFarlane, when he'd write it, so he kind of split his duties because he was doing other things too, and yeah. But it's kind of he's always a part of it. McFarlane is,
right?
But there's a whole bunch, just a rotating chair of art. Like when him and Capullo did a long run, I think 50. I don't know. I can't remember how many issues, but they were like the main duo. And Capullo went on to go do Batman with Snyder and things like that. Like, he's a very good artist, but he's basically made his name on Spawn comics.
So if this was like an established character like Iron Man or let's say Captain Marvel or Shazam, I wouldn't recommend like this type of course of action. But with someone like Spawn, where the adventures would change and kind of the character has grown, the fact that you're getting so many different voices, especially like dark voices too, it kind of lends itself to a better unfolding and like peeling back layers of this type of character.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll talk about the movies first. So we're already talking about the books, but we're talking
about everything. Yeah, but it seems like we're talking about Spawn first.
Yeah, that's fine. It's
first hell.
What's weird is that in the beginning, like the first I think 5 or 6 or 7 issues was the story, and then they had like 3 one-shots. And this is what Spawn, like the series, was guilty of, is that it couldn't hold steam. Like, so it was. Right. The main story in the first 30 or so issues that I read barely moves. Like, it'll move in spurts and
right.
And then there'll be like a bunch of one shots and it takes you way off the beaten path. You're like, I want to know what's going on with the story. So
after his redemption and like kind of his revenge plot, what were you supposed to do with him? Like, he's then just like
there's the whole
archangel for whoever's master or kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
his singular storyline makes sense, right? Like, if he's a vigilante or like an ex-militant that gets fucked over by such and such, and then ends up possessed or like making a deal with the devil to come back and get revenge, and then that's a great kind of story that you can build. After that, it's kind of like, what do we do now with you, right?
Well, there was more than that. Like, there was the whole thing of Terry. So if you don't know, Spawn dies and makes a deal with the devil. He makes a deal with the devil to lead his devil's army in like this upcoming
he's not Spawn.
war. He's assassin, government assassin.
So
Al Simmons, right?
The man dies.
Yeah, and he makes a deal with the devil to see his wife again. You make a deal with the devil. Obviously, he's gonna trick you. So his body's all charred up and
he turns into his bitch.
Yeah, to lead his army, right?
Right, but finds a
and then his wife ends up with his best friend Terry. So his wife Wanda ends up with his best friend Terry. There's a whole plot of like Terry being framed, and organizations coming after him. Right. A senator's son or child being set up with like a pedophile. Like, there's a whole bunch of things But they don't ever like they'll touch on that and then they
leave it alone.
Then they'll do a bunch of one shots and then I'm like, no, get back to
Spawn
that.
fighting this weird character. Spawn fighting this demon. It's like, all right.
So that's that plus Al Simmons or Spawn's cycle of moping just goes on and on and on. Like he'll come out.
He lives in hell.
No, well he lives in the street with a bunch of homeless people.
That's not better. I'd go back to
Wanda.
hell.
I miss Wanda. Like it's good, but it's after about 50 issues.
It's repetitive.
It's the same.
Yeah,
like
you would
there's
learn better.
there's very little character progression for Spawn himself.
Okay.
Right, so it's kind of frustrating if you stick with it. There's some good parts and some bad parts. The early issues.
Here's your segue. Talking about frustration. 97 Spawn.
Oh, you want to? Yeah, I thought we were just gonna keep going with the comics. So I was like, I was ready to go in.
We gave you a foundation of the comics are good, but obviously there's kind of like a standstill because they didn't understand the obstacle of telling more stories to give this man a full arc. They just went back to the well of like, okay, he's evil but not evil, and he's just gonna keep fighting demons and kind of these supernatural things. That gets repetitive after a certain while. If you love it, great, but really what keeps driving you back to Spawn, I feel, for me specifically, was the artwork, because it was unlike anything I ever saw at that time.
Because Tom McFarlane did he created Venom, right?
Seth MacFarlane.
He created Venom too, so you see the parallels in Spawn of when he was working on the Spider-Man comics, right? Mm-hmm. There was a very he just pointed to one over there. Yeah,
it's like it's visceral, right? Yep. You can see the angst in the face and the eyes and the emotion and kind of I want to say energy, but there was always like a push to be like the shit that was happening in those pages seemed like the most serious and like right now this moment is the most important moment. So page to page, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the craziest battle ever. But then when you're looking at the story, it's kind of, especially now that we're no longer like adolescents and youth. Yeah, it's super thin. Yeah, when you were young, you're like, okay, he's fighting Violator. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Yeah,
Overkill was amazing.
Yeah, it's like
Cygor.
It's like, all right. It's the same dude.
The one thing you gotta keep in mind too is Spawn the comic is very 90s. Yes. Like it's Macho Man. It's the most lots of guns, lots of violence,
giant muscles, machismo chests. Yeah. Look at me now. Yeah.
And that was the appeal, right? That was the in thing, and if it came out today, I don't think it would survive the way it did. Like it's surviving now because it's progressed so far. Issue 300 is around the corner, which is amazing.
We'll talk more about that in our Image Bonanza episodes where we go down of just that era of time.
But Spawn started everything. Yeah. He's the OG.
So it was a great time for comics, but it wasn't a sustainable time for comics. Like it was such a great fucking shot up. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, pick this up, but after a while you're like, so give me something else now. And they didn't know what to do next, especially Image. Which brings us to the movie, because that was their next kind of push, right? Like we had kind of conquered comics. We needed a next kind of medium or avenue to take over, and decide to trust whoever you want to say they trusted with making Spawn 97. Good gravy.
Which is really quick, like, because he started in 93, and then the movie came out 4 years later. Or, sorry, 92. So that means the movie came out 5 years later. That means the movie was in production probably 3 years after.
So good on them on capitalizing.
That's fast.
They saw where the money was really coming in. They're like, all right, let's do it, right? And this is up there with one of the first comic book movies to kind of hit the big screen. Especially in the 90s era, right? We can't really talk about the 60s, 70s, like Captain America, Fantastic Four. This was like the push of like, okay, we'll give it a chance. You guys have earned enough trust where like you can see there's an audience for comic books. We can put those butts in these seats in the theater. And they were not right.
No. It was directed by Mark A.Z. Dippe.
First fail.
This is his first movie. It was first full. He had a short film called Herbie Hancock, This Is the Drum. Before that, and he's gone on to do movies like Frankenfish.
Oh, maybe that was a music video for Herbie Hancock.
Oh, there you go. This is a short film.
They say short film for music videos. Okay,
there you go. Garfield Gets Real, The Reef 2, Gutsy Frog.
This is after.
This is after the box. This is since. Well, you got a Marmaduke movie coming out. Nothing here I know. I don't know any of them. No. Since then.
Well, you know Michael Jackson Halloween.
Michael Jackson's Halloween.
But I think that was after he died.
Yeah, this is 2017.
I wouldn't trust that either.
It's all direct. Anyways, this is
He's like his name, a Dippy.
Yeah.
He could be a soft cheese.
He could be. He could be listening right now. It could be a soft cheese.
He could be a new meat.
A dippé.
It could be a new meat.
A dippé.
I don't know what it means yet, but it means something. But the movie is... Where do we begin?
If we're getting this movie, so... Okay, Spawn's the most successful indie comic ever.
Sweet.
And it started Image, and it was a massive success. So let's capitalize this movie. What made the comic so successful was the dark,
its tone,
brooding tone. Yes,
its
tone.
Its tone. The
movie did not capture that at all. And and there was.
I wouldn't say it didn't capture it. Like, it attempted to go there. There are certain things about this movie that I fucking love and can still hold up. Yes, it's a very small list, but there are things about this
because I don't know if I love anything.
So I don't know where you want to go. Do you want to go straight into the spew? Do you want to give them what the?
Yeah, go ahead. I've been talking most of the time.
Okay, so let's just talk about things that I love, and we'll go with casting because that's where that's meat and potatoes for me.
Okay. Because we're gonna have some
Michael White,
yeah,
casted as Al Simmons Spawn.
Yeah,
that's a hit. Good work.
Except it was not a good performance though.
I didn't say that.
It was a hit. I agree. I
said good casting. We'll get into performances.
All right.
Leguizamo, MVP, great casting, great performance. Maybe the best performance of the movie as Clown Violator.
Yeah, I would 100% say that.
Teresa Randall, smoking hot as wife.
Jessica Priest. Oh no, yeah, Wanda. Yeah.
And Melinda Clarke as.
Jessica Priest?
Yes.
Titties out.
Smoking hot.
Titties out.
Smoking hot. Cast them and everything. And then you have Mike, was it, I think it's Huggs or Hughes. He's the little kid that's in every little kid movie. So in Kindergarten Cop, he's the one that says, boys have penises, girls have vaginas. He plays the little homeless dude.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, okay.
Great casting, because anytime you have him in there, and then obviously you want to show a bum,
This is why you do casting. You get the...
When I can say their names right, I get it. That's really the best thing about this movie is John Leguizamo, because he did his entire performance on his knees to do Clown and Violator, and he's pitch perfect, and he totally understands the kind of the.
You didn't mention Martin Sheen.
He's not on my hit list. He's on my miss list. He was terrible, along with DB Sweeney and Nicole Williamson. So everyone, essentially all the white guys in it. Sorry,
yeah, okay, we're not let's get John Leguizamo out of the way here. He had fun with this.
If you're watching the movie, you're watching it for him.
Yeah,
it was a great performance. He completely understood the character. He took it to a place that I never thought I would see until I got to see the animated version of Spawn, which is above and beyond the best, the quintessential version of how you want to watch Spawn.
Yeah,
but his performance is the only thing that kept me watching this. And I fucking paid to watch this again. Because I bought the DVD way back when, and I couldn't find it, for whatever reason, it's lost out of my DVD collection. So I went on to On Demand, and I paid the $5.99 to watch it HD, not available, so I think they took $5.99 from me. And I paid $3.99 to watch it for
you
the
didn't tell me that.
I know I did it. And then I watched it, I was like, God damn, I want my money back, because this was not a fucking good movie.
No, it's not.
Except for
Leguizamo, yeah.
Leguizamo.
And even still, the character was a little... I didn't like there was a lot of potty humor.
Yeah.
And I was like,
there's a lot of green mist farts.
Really like that, but...
But
his performance was great, yes.
Because as a director and the subject material, you're going for a PG, already you're missing what you have and what you're trying to do. Leguizamo is the only kind of connection there to ride between what was R-rated and what was PG.
Yeah.
He has sinister moments in there where it's I would not fuck with this motherfucker. And then he has the PG moments of I'm gonna fly kids and play a clown.
That stupid cheerleading, the cheerleading number and stuff.
Spawn, if he can't do it.
Yeah.
And
again, I wasn't a big fan of that.
Totally not great, but his performance
was really good.
Saves whatever you can salvage from this.
I did hear
godforsaken movie.
I did hear a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but apparently he did actually eat real maggots off the pizza. He puked them out off when the things drop. You know when the pizza takes out the...
Sure, because I have here...
Those are apparently real maggots.
Who in the fuck throws out that much pizza?
Yep.
There's a whole pizza with as many maggots on it, and he casually picks up a full slice. What bum is letting if I order a pizza, I'm college, I'm letting an entire pizza. Like nobody throws out that much pizza.
No,
you're throwing out crust and maybe the last slice.
Even if you dropped it, you're like, ah.
I've seen more fucking like old pizza in fridges for people like, I'll eat it later. Then someone's like, I want to take this entire pie and just toss it to the point that maggots are like, this is for us.
And they're big maggots too.
They've been there for a while. They've been eating. That's one of a laundry list things that we're going through. So we're going to be all over here. I like to say when I saw the credits, I couldn't stop laughing because... first of all,
I think I turned it up. Go ahead. The opening credits or the ending credits?
Everything.
Okay.
Ending credits are hilarious, but opening credits is like, so none of this technology holds up. Like none of the
Oh my god.
None of the animation.
This might be
at all holds up.
In recent memory, at least, this is the worst movie
for CGI
that I've seen.
Or like this was definitely a beta test of like, can we do this?
My god.
Let's try it.
It was bad.
It was terrible.
It was okay.
I wanted them to put a little quote on there.
Solid. Do you want me to go down the list and then you add to it? Or like,
sure, but let me just say like
okay.
From the opening credits and from the first musical cue, I said from the makers of the Blade soundtrack because it's all. I was like, this is gonna be terrible, but I couldn't wait. Again, I recommend. I'm already gonna tell you. Recommend this movie if you're drunk or with a group of people to boo down this movie.
Really bad.
This is probably the best group watch movie where you're not really paying attention until you laugh at shit that's terrible.
So I got point for him here.
Go for it.
I'll nail them off. You can just add to it. If I miss anything, we'll just finish. Okay, so I did. Yeah, rough acting. She never does it. Yeah, he was so. Like,
he was terrible.
He was so like.
He was so miscast for this.
Is that what you want to do? Then I'll just kill you. Like.
And he grew up goatee and everything. And I was like, dude, this is not the one for you.
Jessica Priest with tits out. Yeah, we talked about that.
Amazing.
So. The opening scene where they turn on Al, right?
Right.
She has this AR with her, this assault rifle.
Okay.
And she shoots green goo on him. Like, did you?
There's a lot of green goo mist stuff.
Yes.
I've noticed that the same going back to potty humor from Clown.
Yeah.
He farts the same mist that appears in Spawn's eyes when he. I was like.
Yeah.
Nobody in the editing team was like, maybe we should change the consistency here, or everyone's gonna think, or at least the order, because now I think that Spawn's eyes fart out green mist.
Green mist, yeah, they must reek.
Fail.
Green goo, yeah, that was weird. So that's how they burned him. It was, I guess, it was like, weird. So I don't know why don't you just shoot him in the head? I don't know why you squirt green goo. What kind of assault? Anyways,
going back to him getting burnt, his entire body got burnt to a crisp.
It was all shiny.
But his clothes didn't even get charred. And there was a costume change. Like he started off in military garb and ended up in like homeless people rags.
Yeah.
But burnt in between. I was like, where was this cutscene?
Man, they fucking wasted him in this, eh?
Yes.
He's got that voice too. It's just, he was not into it.
Oh, from the intro, the weird voiceover trying to tell you about like the battle between
that's
heaven and hell.
Yeah, that's Cogliostro. Yeah,
that's bad casting. That was Nicole Williamson. Did not like him.
Okay. Sorry, I'll go back to my list.
Just hit stuff.
Clown over the top, but John Leguizamo had fun. Yeah. Jason Wynn, so Martin Sheen's character, just a cackling mustache twirler. Special ops CD. So you know when Terry goes into the office to find dirt on himself,
right?
And he pops that CD out. It says Special Ops CD, like written right.
Yeah, like.
Who would do that?
First of all,
there's a Special Ops CD.
So the technology they're using
says Special Ops.
There's
CD.
this. At one point, there's a screen on the behind them, and it looks like a Nintendo game board.
Yeah.
And then like MS DOS, and I was like, oh my god! Like just to see how old the technology was, they didn't even try and invent something new. They like used dead technology to be like, we're cutting edge, and I was like, you've pulled me out of this goddamn movie.
Yeah. So they harvested disease from dead Korean biohazardous bombs threatening the world. Yeah, that was the plot, right? He was holding the world hostage,
right,
with a bunch of bombs that would shoot out a biohazardous mist that they got from dead Koreans.
So realistic.
Yeah,
they really went for tonally grounded.
What's the? I don't. What's that?
What's the pull factor?
Yeah,
why? Just go shoot everybody.
Yeah, Terry asked to research some. Oh, this was a good one when he's in. Terry's in the room with Jason Wynn,
right?
Martin Sheen, and he's like, he asks, "Oh, can I do some research for some cover-ups, across the seas? I feel like there's something going on." And Wynn's like, "I'll kill your family." Like there's no. What? It's like there's no. He doesn't even try to persuade him off it.
There's no shift. And if you wanted to take it to that level, this should have been an R-rated comedy. You should be like, I kill your fucking family. In the first 5 minutes, give me something just bloody. It's like, no.
It's like, bro, whoa. So, okay, clearly you're behind this now. Like, there's no subtlety whatsoever. Yeah. Like, it was just like, I'll kill your family. That made me laugh. I was like, what is going on? A lot
made me laugh, but a lot made me, like, cry. I also put, so anytime there was shots of, like, hell or like the slow motion drop to hell, I was like, am I watching a movie or is this Doom PC graphics?
Yeah, it was
like,
oh boy,
like still pixelated.
Dude, at the ending when they show the army,
oh good, I was laughing. I laughed so hard at that final climax because it was hard.
Like, so the army, they all look like spawns, and that's from the comics too. They all have the same Spawn outfit,
right?
But in this one, they were actual like copies. Like animation copies. Like, they're all doing the same thing. There's about 3 different gestures. One Spawn was going like this, one was like this, and one was going like this, and it was just copies.
You know they can't see you. When you
I know, but
they just cut and paste.
Yeah, they cut and paste,
and they just
hundreds of them,
glue them all. But before they understood, like it's not Lord of the Rings levels of like, oh, we can copy and paste, but each one looks intricate and works to the overall setting of a final battle. It's like clip art. It's like
they'd be side by side doing the same fucking thing.
It's using hard like floppy disk, and you have to load up like 30 discs to get one character. Like that's the level of non-technology that you have. It's bad. It's bad. Like I don't have enough words to talk about how terrible the animation pulled me out of the movie.
Oh, it was just
because you could have cut all that away and just kind of done more of a grounded, and there still would have been a story there. Like Leguizamo and the Michael Jai White character back and forth. There was something there. They didn't get fully expressed. But anytime... And they always did like these slow motion explosions to get to hell. So like they took the time to show like this big fire explosion when he first like gets...
and then Malbosha's there and he's like... And then, his mouth doesn't even move.
And then they sweep like so. There's this big slow motion explosion.
Why even show him
when he gets fucking double crossed? And then the slow kind of grind to hell, but like it's just like a wall of fire that's not done well.
No.
And then like a pitfall to like a base level of what hell looks like, not done well.
No.
And then like the demon, not done well.
Yeah, and then Malbosha's like, rah, 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 and he's got this like he looks like he was made in a basement by like a college kid. Like
not done
like,
well.
Why even show him? Just have a voice. You don't need to show him.
Yeah, this is where a competent director would have made an executive decision. Be like, let's find a different way to do it.
There's a scene where when Spawn gets into it, right? He gets this gun. He's like, I'm gonna bring the fight to them. When he attacks Jason Wynn and Jessica Priest in that what was it, like a ball or not a ball, like a gala or whatever.
Okay, yeah,
right. Yeah. And she just like there's a hall full of people. And she's like, "There's Spawn," and she just brings out the guns.
These guys are just shooting. Yeah.
He does this one move. I was rolling. I don't know if any. Hopefully you notice this too. He's in the top balcony and he does this flip. But he's shooting before he flips.
Yeah,
so he actually shoots the floor, the wall, and
to get to the floor. It's like. But you're a trained military, like top level. You know when to push the trigger on a gun. You wait till you see your target. Yeah. But he's too gun happy. He's like, I'm doing it now. Flip.
He's like a 4-year-old with a cap gun. It's just like...
So, like, 2/3 of your bullets are now in the wall, stairs,
and
floor.
Anybody walking around, like, they're all dead.
There should be way more dead people in this movie than there are.
None of them died in that.
No, they walk away. That was weird.
That I was rolling on that one.
I laughed a lot at. Well, I wrote here. This is how crazy I thought John Leguizamo is, because I have to keep going back to him because he was the high point. Yeah. He literally could have been casted as Pennywise in the It movies. Like I felt like he was that close. And there's a scene where he was
performing very good.
He's a clown in the at a children's party, but then he pulls out this skid mark underwear, and I was like, I want to laugh at this, but this is not gonna work.
It just ruined everything he was talking about. Skid marks.
It's like, you fuck. Why?
The scene, right after that banquet hall or gala exit,
right,
he gets his cape, that long cape,
right.
And he disguised himself as part of the building. So
I wrote, okay, so what did you write for that? I thought it was
a waste of a fucking disguise.
Yes, but I also wrote, that literally reminded me of Mario 3 when you get that stone suit.
Yeah.
And you could just turn invisible. It's like, of all the things you could do, why would you just hide as a pillar?
And then not even for a long time. He goes against the corner. He hides as a pillar. The spotlight, because the cops are after him. The spotlight goes over her.
Right.
And then it passes by him, and then he comes out of it, and then it comes back.
And that cape was so fucking out of place. There's a moment when he's like flying down with it, and it's like, you could tell it doesn't belong in this movie. Like they just clipped arted it in to like fit. But it and then the cape's like one of the best characters in the film, because when it transfers into the motorcycle, like that's one.
That was cool. Yeah,
that was badass. But that's the only time the cape does something good. This is basically a video game movie. That's how terrible it is.
How did you like the trigger heart transplant? Like how the fuck who in their right mind thinks that's a good idea? They put a trigger into Jason Wynn's heart, so that if his heart stops beating, all the bombs go off.
It's not the first time I've heard it, but maybe it was the first time that it appeared. Like I've heard that trope where it's attached to your heart.
Yeah.
I remember Transformers kind of did a thing where like they took out the heart of Rampage and like we got you, right? So there's something there, but but
why would he do that?
The overall story is already convoluted with like what you want to get Korean gas to destroy the world.
Yeah.
The fact that you're placing it on this, like, what are you doing? Like, just talk about how this guy got cuckolded. Because I think this is the first story of, like, a dude getting cuckolded in a comic book, right?
Yeah.
And he comes back. I will say this about his makeup. That's how I want, if I ever get Chameleon in a Sinister Six movie.
To look just like that? All shiny?
No. When his face is all burnt up, I want it to look like that. Like, and, like, scars and veins. Just make that white.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I want Chameleon to look like. Because I think that was one of the highlights for me. Set design wasn't bad. Makeup was pretty good for the time.
No, makeup was fine. His outfit was pretty lame. The body armor he had going on.
And again, I guess this is a comic book trope. You can start counting how many times it happens. This is another superhero that has to take off his mask.
I actually wrote that too. Yeah,
he does it so many fucking times. And your
Spawn mask always off.
And you're not even a pretty man anymore. No. Like you're charred. Keep the mask on. Like at least you have fucking.
He barely takes it off in the comics, but.
Well, that's every comic. Like every comic book movie, they find a way.
Never takes his mask off,
and he's always off. This one they had it off, and it's like, dude, nobody wants to look at that grill. Like the best thing about this movie is the goddamn poster.
Yeah, the poster's great.
And that's the face that you want to see. You don't get to see that. You see that maybe a third of the movie, and then when you do get to see it again, it's in the cheap hell version animated, and you're like, oh, I've been swindled again.
Then they have. In the showdown near the ending there, at Terry and Wanda's place.
Oh God!
Where Jason Wynn just walks in with his gun, it's just like opens the door. He's already got his gun out. Like what's going on there?
It didn't make any sense.
Cagliostro shows up. Mind if I cut in?
I just wrote what the fuck for that final battle. I didn't have to write anything else.
Oh, it was so bad.
Like tonally, it's so off. There's like 6 different tones in this movie. It doesn't know what it wants to do or what it's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, the battle in because what was it? Clown pretends he's Wanda,
right?
Tied up.
Yeah.
Remember? And then it's like, why are we doing this?
Why? For what?
Why are we doing this, guys?
You already have an inside track to Spawn. Like you can just fuck with him in so many different ways. And this didn't even make sense to further the plot.
And then he gets dragged into hell and.
Hell is terrible. If that's what hell looks like, I'm not afraid of hell at all.
Not at all.
It's laughable.
No, it's pretty funny.
I'd go down there and be like, yo.
The army doesn't move.
You guys didn't get the MS-DOS update? You guys aren't even on Microsoft XP?
And the fight with Malboja is like...
Oh my God. Malboja was a waste. I hated the voiceover in the beginning. Because that didn't even make sense. And then you get the fucking... Like, did you see the lettering for Spawn, his name? Like, it looked like Turok from Nintendo 64. Like, it didn't look anything like the movie poster.
No.
Like, nobody knew what they were doing. Like, nobody talked to any other department during this movie for what they were trying to accomplish. And then at the end, everyone's like, okay, let's just put it all together. And nothing made sense.
Let's just piece it together and see what happens.
Only New Line Cinema would invest money in this. This is the only production company. New Line Cinema is the only people giving... a chance to anything like this.
It had
to this level.
This is how hungry people were. Its budget was $45 million.
Right.
It made $87. So it almost doubled. That's how hungry people were for a good Spawn movie.
Off of the trailer, because I imagine the trailer was amazing.
I don't remember it, but yeah.
But you can see exactly what was in it. Like, it would have been him on the motorcycle, transforming in the suit, him with the guns, just jumping down. Like, all the best versions of it. And then seeing John Leguizamo's face being clown, that would have sold me to buying a ticket.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's PG, I don't need my mom to go.
And then you go in there and you're like...
You're swindled!
What?
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about the devil worshippers in the fucking graveyard?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and the one guy that looked like Guy Fieri, and he gets stabbed.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's this weird moment where like they're praying to the devil or whatever, and it looks like this guy has a dagger to stab something.
Yeah.
But it looks like an ass that he's stabbing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a piece of bread or.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
And then
Spawn shows
comes
up
out of the grave.
I was like, what? Like
whoa.
what? So like they're making fun of I guess that's Gen X or like the next generation of like goths or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're posers and idiots.
Yeah.
And then Spawn just comes and dummies them, and it's like, well, did I need them? Like,
no, it's fuck. It's not a good movie, man. Well, see, I finished my list. What do you?
The one takeaway I said was basically so Spawn's basically a Ghost Rider
Similar
ripoff.
Yeah.
Like they have the whole type of like
Spirit of Vengeance type shit.
Yeah, tortured soul, and they need that.
Similar.
Well, that mentor who understands things. Although you don't get the mentor that good in this.
No, Cognizant just sucks in this.
He's terrible.
It is. What's the actor's name? Nicole Williamson.
Yeah, Nicole.
This was his final role, by the way.
Well, you know,
Yeah, so
I can see
he
why.
went out with a bang.
No, he went out with a whimper. Oh, I laughed so fucking hard at when the kid is eating a sandwich and it's rotten, and his bum father smacks him, like just fucking. He's like, you can't waste food. The kid can't choke down this fucking moldy sandwich, and then Spawn comes in and dummies his dad. But I laughed so hard at the child abuse, and not that I laugh at child abuse, my mind was literally looking for something to enjoy about this movie, and it was so fucking hard.
What's crazy about this is that it borrows so much from the comics,
right?
But it does everything that it borrows worse. It's wild how they could just fuck it up this much.
For literally 6 minutes after the first voiceover, there's no talking. The first intro, he's just walking around doing things.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's saying any. There's no exposition. They gave us the fucking voiceover talking about heaven and hell. Then I get Michael Jai White as whoever you're supposed to be. He's just running around doing things, but nobody's saying anything. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm checking to see if I push mute. It didn't make sense. Like, and then what? Somehow Frank Welker is on payroll doing a voice here, and that's the same voice as Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And I laughed at that, and I didn't bother looking up what he did a voice for because it would have just made me mad.
I don't know.
This movie's not good.
No, it's not.
It does not hold up. There's very little to like about it. I can't recommend it.
It's honestly, I'm not saying this. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
And then put comic book on it. Oh.
Yeah.
Again, and I don't want to put it in comic book. That's why I said this reminds me more of a video game movie because it's so far from the original source material that's laughable.
But it's just like
it's laughable.
They borrow so much directly from the comic, but they just fuck all of it up.
Well, what's the point of boring if you're not gonna like? That's why I said you should get Robert Rodriguez to direct it because he'll plagiarize like a motherfucker,
not dip A,
and make it look good. I don't know if this is so bad it's good or so good it's bad or just bad.
It's just bad. It's just flat. Like I never want to see it again.
Fair enough.
We watched it again for this. I watched it as a kid. I remember being like,
I'll watch
like lukewarm on it.
I'll watch it again for audio
kids like
commentary.
Everything. Yeah.
I couldn't figure out if the dog's name was Snot, Spud, or Spaz. But I couldn't wait for the dog to die because I hated it.
They just left him outside.
Get out of Spaz. Yeah, the fucking stepdad's like
left him outside.
So he's freaking out about whoever's chasing him, I guess Spawn or something. He gets Wanda into the car. He gets the little girl in the car, and she's like, "What about Spaz, Snot, Spud?"
He'll find his way home.
He'll find his way home, and then pulls off in the minivan.
Why is he there, anyways? They're like, she's doing some speech. Wanda was doing a speech in like a gymnasium, and they just brought the dog with them.
Why is Spud there? Why is
the dog there?
Why is DB Sweeney there? Because I was just gonna say, like a cuckold, he has to keep finding ways to insert himself in the situation. I'll give him props for cuckolding, but it didn't last.
Oh man, it was just bad.
But I like the makeup because Clown looks great.
His makeup did look good. Yeah,
Spawn looks great. Set design because there was like the first place that they used for like the warehouse and everything, like that design was cool. The highway scene was nice. Like the shots that they chose to go to.
So Frank Welker was actually the voice of Malbolgia.
Oh God.
Sorry, you're talking about set designs. Go ahead.
I know. It's terrible. I'm drawing at straws for the little things I liked about this. That motorcycle scene where you fucking finally get some motorcycle is cool. But then there's
armor's up.
Then there's a weird like when what's his face is trying to teach him how to use your powers, or like you have to like channel it and feel it.
Yeah.
And then the chompers come out. Yeah. I was like, God damn, it completely took you out again. Anytime they wanted to fill you in with like CGI to like kind of like pad what a comic book would have done for you, it takes you completely out of the movie. I wish they just avoided it and be like, we don't have the technology for it.
And that's kind of what McFarlane's going with this newer movie. Is he's, I think, trying to keep it smaller.
Here's the thing for him.
Bullshit.
He can't do worse.
I don't think he can.
It can't go worse than what's been out there. This is terrible.
But moving on to...
Actually, I don't recommend watching. Don't watch
No, I don't watch this. It's bad. Hellboy. Which movie do you want? You want to do the most recent one, right?
Or do we do the comic book? Do you talk about Spawn and Hellboy or do movies?
We'll go back to...
Okay, yeah, the most recent one. The one with new casting. Hopper. Real name...
David Harbour,
who I liked.
Yeah. He was actually very good.
Yes, he was.
Very good.
I'm going to say my definitive Hellboy. I hope he gets another shot to do another movie.
I think so. I hope so too, because
it didn't make its money.
I remember I watched this. I hadn't watched this until just recently,
right?
For this episode, but I remember hearing that it was terrible. It's not as bad as
and I saw it when it first came out.
And
I
you
was
said
like,
that too.
Yeah, I was like, this is not as bad as I want to think it is.
Like it's not good.
It's a 2-half movie. The first half of the movie is
really
I want to say amazing. Like it's really up there, and then the second half just falls apart.
It moves quick.
Yeah. And they throw you right into the action, and you're with it, right? Like you just get swept up in the storm because so I guess we'll just talk about the movie. The opening scene is just him, in Mexico and just his life of what it would have been to this point, where he's just trying to pull a friend out of a bad situation essentially, and it turns out Hellboy being Hellboy, it's not as clean as he would want it to be. His friend has been possessed by some sort of demon. He's essentially a man bat, so he's in Mexico looking for this man bat creature. Yeah. That he doesn't even know yet.
No, he doesn't even know it's a bat. He thinks it's his buddy, right?
Yeah, he's looking for this luchador. So he goes to a basically amateur wrestling thing, and everyone's cheering. This is kind of the only place that he kind of like can fit in.
Yeah,
because he's celebrated down here. And I was like, oh, look, El Diablo. Like, they're just cheering for him, right? They think he's
no, I'm just here for my friend.
Right. And he gets into the ring, and kind of a great scene for me. Like, it just unfolds where he's like trying to talk to his friend. I was like, yo, this isn't you. This is someone else. Let's get you out of here.
Yeah. And he won't come.
No, and the demon slowly starts to come out, and he turns into this man bat freak, which is, if you're ever gonna do man bat for Batman,
looks just like
this is the makeup or the CGI I want you to do. This is fucking pitch perfect, and ends up having to spoilers. Yeah, because we fucking spoil it, Spawn like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
he has to impale him to on a ring post. He's not gonna get his friend back. Yeah. He has to kill him or be killed, and that's their opening scene to like. That establishes
it was great.
And then that's not even like the end of this whole scene is him in a bar like drinking in remorse because he had to kill his friend.
Yeah.
He's an outsider. He can't be an insider. Like you get so much from this opening scene of like how much burden he has on his shoulder, how he's in this job. He's a reluctant hero. Like there's nothing else he can do.
It's not really like in terms of setup. It's not really that different from the Del Toro movies with Ron Perlman,
right?
Like because they kind of throw you in the middle of that as well. It is different because it feels like it's earlier. Like when in those movies, it feels like he's already been doing this for a long time.
Right.
This one kind of feels like he's been doing it for a little while, but not too long. Because it's just him, right? There's no
team. You don't understand. There's a foundation around him. This one, I agree with you for the most part, but tonally, I feel more for him in this one because you get a sense that like. Yo, even my closest friends, I can't even have closest friends.
Yeah, he's sadder in this one.
Yeah.
In the Ron Perlman ones,
he's sarcastic.
He's more like he's tongue in cheek. I'm over it.
Yeah, like he's like I can walk away from this.
This one, he's definitely got a side.
This one, you feel like he's such a fucking outsider, and you get this in the first like 10 minutes of the flick. So you're already into the character, and you're already into this world. And then they take you out of Mexico, and the movie kind of starts, right?
Yeah.
So I fucking love that.
Yeah.
And then the casting is great, right? So to play his father figure instead of. Oh, let me pull up fucking names for these guys.
Yeah, you skipped right over your casting.
I did. So we'll talk about the casting for the 2019 movie.
Yeah.
So you have Ian McShane, who plays his father figure, which is amazing. That's the best casting.
He's been in a lot of good things, right?
Yes,
Like he's sneakily been in a lot of good.
I don't
things.
even think it's sneakily anymore. He's just.
I think you're right. Not anymore. It's almost like he's been underrated for so long. Now it's like everybody knows he's underrated. So
you're
he's
rated.
Not underrated
You're
anymore.
rated. Mila Jovovich.
That's right. She's as the witch, right? Or
so you'll know her from Resident Evil fame. That's okay casting, but I don't really like the character of the witch.
Yeah, I didn't
what
like
they did
yeah.
there. I don't remember Thomas Haden Church in it. But
he was in the flashback. He was the what was the guy's name that was killing the Nazis? He's like, I'm here to kill the Nazis.
Oh, okay. When they first find out.
Yeah.
Okay, fair
when
enough.
they first find out.
You also get Daniel Day Kim, which is great. Not enough with him, but what he did was kind of cool. And then I guess new for me, but Sasha Bianca Lane, who kind of plays the surrogate daughter and kind of a connection to the softer side of Hellboy.
She's new.
Which was cool, right? So casting, very minimal cast. I don't know who did the voice for the Bebop character, but
oh yeah, that's fucking we get Bebop in this movie.
We get
Turtles fame.
We get a definitive. This is how you want Bebop
giant
to look.
Warthog, yeah.
He looks great. But I think casting overall was great. But you can say that for both sets of movies. There was never bad casting because they have David Hyde Pierce as Abe Sapien, which is great.
Fine, yeah.
You have Selma Blair as a Fire Lady. I don't remember her name. And William Hurt as the father figure. I don't have character names, but if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna watch it.
But
I like this. I like what's his face again?
McShane.
No, I like David Harbour's. Hellboy
I like him a
Ron
lot.
Perlman's
Yeah,
Hellboy.
I agree. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I liked it a lot. Story is what he gets sent out to help out some knights, right?
So after Mexico, he goes back home. Obviously, you get the connection of the organization he works for. You get to see the building where he is, and then his whole lifestyle of like, I live here. This is kind of my surrogate dad with Ian Shane. But then Ian Shane's like, okay, we need you. And they send him out again off to England, essentially.
For hunting giants.
Hunting giant, which is amazing. To just
really
hear
cool
that.
idea.
Doug Jones plays Abe Sapien, but David Hyde Pierce voices.
The voices,
Abe
yeah. From the
John Hurt, not William Hurt. My mistake. This is Guillermo del
Toro's.
Toro's
He's checking the cast for
casting. And Jeffrey Tambor I like in that too because he plays the
those are good
bureaucrat.
But those were good movies too.
Yes, they are.
This is literally this is
not
really
a bad
a
franchise.
Different take.
Yeah,
no,
this is
different take.
Just a unappreciated franchise.
He goes giant hunting. He finds out about his past, about how he was brought into the world because he didn't know, right?
And I like the giant hunt. Like,
was cool,
I'm just gonna go
man.
straight to the action scene because he's fighting 3 giants. But I've never seen it done where like he can run to the camera and they pivoted the camera so it looked like the direction where they keep shifting how he's running.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a video game, and so they'd pivot the camera around that, and then all of a sudden you just see a giant fist come down or a big blunt sword, and it was the giant.
Well, I will say this.
So I fucking love that.
Neil Marshall is the guy who directed this,
right?
And I just wanted to shout that out because he's actually, I didn't know this before. I actually looked it up after I watched the movie, and I didn't realize it was him. But he's done 2 movies that I've seen. Like, I know he's done more than 2 movies, but there's 2 movies of his that I really liked. I didn't know it was him, and that was The Descent, was really good from
really
back
good.
in like 2005.
Super dark.
Yeah, really good. There was another one
twist.
There's another one that a friend of mine gave me randomly called Dog Soldiers, and it was about these soldiers that go into the woods and they have to fight off like werewolves, and they slowly become and it was like it was like a direct to DVD movie type movie, and I was like, this is gonna be shit. I was gonna say VHS, but I was like, oh, it looks like shit. It was actually
really
good action movie. Yeah,
fair enough.
I should bottle cap. We should keep 6. Like,
we should.
Dogs like it was. Yeah, and I didn't realize he had done that. So he had done those.
And that's the thing. Direction's strong on this.
Yeah, so my point is the directing is actually...
The only thing that falls short, really, with this movie is the script. Because I don't know what they're doing after the second half. So, essentially, the whole plot is Mila Jovovich is the witch. She was in
pieces.
she was too much power way back when in the medieval times with King Arthur. So they decided to slice her up and chop her bodies into little pieces, put each piece in a chest, and send those over to the far reaches of the earth
Yep.
because there's no other way to destroy her. Fine, but years later, someone's like, "Hey man, I found a piece," and I guess she just kept whispering to them, "Assemble me, assemble me." So, what's the organization that Hellboy works for?
Oh, the
CB.
No, RPID.
RPID. Oh, funny. That's another movie.
That's they're based on.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no crossover there?
No.
Oh, okay. We need to do another connection. RPID is like, okay, we've got some rumblings here. You need to go.
Sorry, RIPD. Not
There you
RIPD.
go. You need to go nip this in the bud as soon as possible. So Hellboy's on a search to go find them. He goes over to England, where he meets kind of the next line of descendants of the Knights of the Round Table.
Yep.
To go on a hunt for
That they've been doing for like
centuries.
ages, right? Yeah.
And then another like an early twist, which was like fucking great.
That was a quick twist.
Yeah, it was. So he meets like an oracle there, which kind of gives.
She gives him the background to his.
We didn't give casting for it too. She was great in that, and King Arthur we didn't give casting to. Yeah. So talk a little bit about when he makes.
Yeah. He learns that if you watch the older movies, then you know already. But he learns in this one that he was basically summoned by Nazis to try and win the war. But just as he was summoned, the Nazis were killed off, and his father, so the Ian McShane character, actually took him in and raised him to
be good
at Attack of the Mutants. And this whole movie's about him, like, well, I said other mutants, other monsters, and he's like, but I'm a monster too, so I'm hunting my own kind.
So it's him coming to grips with.
So he's kind of, it's like an identity thing.
Yeah, am I going to be this hero that they thought I'm going to be, or am I going to be the villain or the monster that I potentially could always be? So just for Alistair, Petrie plays Lord Adam Glaren, who is his first point of contact with like kind of the Knights of the Round Table, and Sophia Okanido plays Lady Hatton, which is the
who played the Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Because that was the cool fight where she was doing like a crab walk and shit. She's not there.
Maybe
doesn't matter. There's a pretty cool fight because she's the one who summons the Bebop to go assemble the witch together.
Right.
Because she's all locked up in that house with chicken legs, right?
Yeah, Thomas Hayden plays Lobster Johnson.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't see Baba Yaga.
Okay. Well, you know the one where she's crab walking and shit, and
that was awesome.
Yeah. That was a really cool scene, I thought. In the chicken leg house.
So essentially, what's his name? Lord Alliston, whatever. Befriends Hellboy's like, all right, we're all gonna go on the chase. They'll horseback up and start running out into the forest to go find these giants, and immediately like turn on Hellboy and start like stabbing him.
They wasted no time.
And I was like, God, like I'm in the theater, like damn, right? Like that was the last thing I thought was gonna happen. So it was such a cool twist early on.
Yeah.
To see this Hellboy really can't trust anyone based on who they think he is and who he inevitably can be. I will say this: the trailer ruined all the good parts for the movie. But,
didn't watch it.
But luckily, a lot of that is more of what could happen, not necessarily what does happen.
Right.
But that's still like pivotal part of it. So they turn on him. Obviously, they try to electrocute him. He fights off most of them.
And the giants show up.
And then this giant show up and take out the rest. And then he takes out the giants. So great, right? Like you get even a better feel of like how isolated this man is. Like his father sent him out here, so we're all like, "Yo, can we not trust his father?"
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, did he turn
who
on?
can he really turn on? And then he's just out here exposed because he took down 3 giants. He took down like an army of supposedly like good guy knights, and then he just received a piece of a prophecy that like you could be the worst monster ever. So he ends up linking up with a dread hair girl who's a seer.
Yeah.
For solace, right? Like you get a little backstory of like he saved her parents when he was younger, or her when she was younger, and that's why she still has.
She can talk to dead people.
Dead people, yeah. She still has a soft spot for her, but now he's being hunted by the next set of police, which is where Daniel Day Kim comes in, and so here, this is where the movie like switches tones because they try to speed up a lot of exposition fast.
It gets very and
abrupt. they have to move into getting the witch assembled and everyone on the same side.
This is where it kind of goes downhill, right? It's
so you don't get enough time to have like a face off between Daniel's character and David's character where they should be on opposition and learn that like fight each other and then learn that they have to work together, all of a sudden they get a phone call basically from back home in North America saying you all work together now, and they're like, fuck.
Yeah,
what?
I guess so.
And then they're off to go fight the next monster, and then they really rely heavily on CGI, although it's great with the witch getting assembled and Bebop.
Yep. Bebop looked good, yeah.
Those two kind of pieces that worked, but then the rest of it is like, okay, now we're just gonna show you shots of London falling into like.
Yeah, the weird
apocalypse.
monsters. Yeah, she summons all these monsters, and it's like,
and that's cool too. Like the monsters
cool,
were cool because they were ripping like humans apart, and like there's all this shit I've never seen.
Pulled,
like, there's all this cool stuff, but like you didn't earn it. Like you just straight went there.
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck off. And like somehow his father dies, and like he gets regurgitated. Like he talks through
the mouth. Yeah,
that was weird. Like so they lose all the great credibility that they had in the first half of the movie. They kind of give up in the second half just to push the plot. And then there's a moment where he meets Merlin or tracks on Merlin, and Merlin tells him like, yo, you could be a king of
this
the
is
dark
fucking
side.
Weird. He's like, just take Excalibur,
so,
and you can win. And then later on he
like,
doesn't, but then later on the witch is like, take Excalibur, and you can win. It's like, well, what the fuck? It's the same.
They force all this exposition in like these tiny moments, and I'm not against the Merlin thing. Like I like knights and shit like that, and you had me a little bit with the knights that betrayed him. Like there was a moment there where you could have kept that kind of storyline running and it made sense, but they broke away from it. He had to kill all those dudes, and then you brought back Merlin again and Excalibur, and you're like, well, this is the sword that's going to change how this war is won and end. And it like
it's
and then it falls apart. Like they win, but it's like, and then Daniel Day Kim is like a panther dude.
He's a
jaguar.
He's a jaguar. It's like, okay.
They just sprung that on us. Yeah. So like it wasn't even a twist or anything, and then they ruined that in the trailer. So it's like it wasn't even a good surprise. So like, editing really fell short, script fell short, and marketing fell short.
Trailers suck, man.
Trailers are good when they're right.
But I don't trust people to do them right.
There's so much here that you're like, oh, this could be so good if they just gave it time to unfold.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
No.
And then at the end, there's like this scene where, like, after everything wraps up, then they have the like, oh, we're a team now. We've been working together for years.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what song is playing, but I laughed so hard because it was like. Maybe like a Queen song or some shit like that.
I actually don't remember either. But
like they played like whatever popular song, and they kick the door down. They just start shooting, and like all these whatever monsters, and Daniel came like transforms into a panther, and it's like, you didn't earn this either. Like this was clearly setting up for the sequel.
Yeah.
But like.
And then they find Abe Sapiens.
Yeah.
Thing, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's set up for a sequel. I hope.
It ends in a whimper, and it started with such a good punch.
Apparently there was a lot of beef.
With everything?
Yeah, well, just in production, like they couldn't tell which way to go.
You can see that.
Yeah, you can really show it the second half.
It looks like two fucking movies.
It was like, all right, let's just fucking get this done. Let's
boom, boom, boom. And then as soon as they got it done, like, don't forget the sequel, and then they just shoehorned in all this extra shit.
Exactly what it felt like. Yeah.
Why would you do this to Harbor? Because he spent like 4 hours in that fucking chair, like
makeup. Yeah, Perlman was bitching about that too, right?
Yeah. And the thing about Perlman's Hellboy, he looks like the comic, but he always still looks like
Perlman. Always, he got that big face.
Harbor looks like fucking Hellboy.
Yeah,
it's hard to see him in there, and his voice, like he changes the register a little bit. Like he did his justice, but the movie. Ugh. So that was two movies.
That's movies. So we'll jump to what we read now. Sure.
Well, you read Spawn. I read Spawn.
Hellboy. Yeah, I did the Spawn stuff. You did the Hellboy stuff. So I did. Like I said, I read like the first 30 or.
Yeah, you cheated because I read one thing.
Yeah, well, because I read the first one just recently, and then I kept going.
Right.
I don't want to touch on. I was gonna do the first one, but I'll do Origins Volume 5.
Do the one that's most related to what you watched.
That would be Volume 1. But.
You're not gonna do that. So we're doing Volume 5.
I was gonna because I watched the HBO stuff a couple months ago too, and that's
you're so ingrained in Spawn.
I'm just like the past 3 months I've been just dripping in Spawn everywhere. Yeah I don't even like it that much. I don't know.
First of all, the HBO is fucking a cut above, so I don't see how you don't love that shit.
The first season.
Yeah.
The first season.
It's a good series.
Yeah.
And then we're doing Image fairly soon, so
we'll talk about that. We can do something with the HBO one. We could do something with the HBO one.
We could.
Like episode per episode.
This isn't a pitch meeting. This is our
I know.
Across the pages.
I forgot the mic was here. We're a team now.
Yes.
Start the sequel.
I got a movie pitch for you. See? Spawn number 5.
Yeah, Origins Volume 5. So it collects number 27 to 32. Okay? 27 and 28. This is what I'm talking about. This is a graphic novel here with 6 issues, right? Yeah. 6 issues.
Like I had to count on
I just made to make sure. So the first 2 issues are handling the main plot of the cover-up on Terry, right? So it's all about Terry trying to figure out who's trying to frame him,
right?
And why all of a sudden they pull back.
Okay.
And then that's Spawn working in the background, right? So this is from previous issues. In these 2 issues, that's what he's doing. Spawn in this one is moping in his fucking alleyway, like he always does.
Is there a tiny kid there as well? Getting smacked?
No,
by
not
his
yet,
dad?
not
Okay,
yet. Actually, but that's actually in.
Nice.
That's actually in this.
Sorry to cut you. Go.
Anyways, he's moping in his thing. He just finished a fight with Cygor, who's a cyborg gorilla.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And this guy shows up called the Curse.
Right.
And he's like this Bible thumper with one arm, and he's basically it seems like all his enemies at this point are some sort of machine hybrid.
Sure.
Type shit. Like
Or
there's Overkill, there's
or
Cygor, now there's the Curse. Who's
or
like
religious allegory.
yeah, religious is a big thing in this. But he's a nut, and he actually blows a hole into Spawn's chest.
Nice.
Spawn comes back the next issue and handles his business.
Okay.
And he just hangs him up in his alleyway.
Nice.
Like as like a decoration.
Yeah,
and he's not even dead yet. He's just like he's still talking
bleeding
to him.
out
And he's
and
just
shit,
like, just shut up, just fuck off. In between, so that's 27 and 28, right? And then 29. So in between 28 and 29, there's the Angela miniseries where Spawn actually goes to heaven. I didn't read this, but he goes to heaven, and 29 picks up with him landing back onto Earth.
Okay.
So it goes from 27 28. This is what I'm talking about. This book is fucking like this series is weird. It's all over the place.
There's no content.
So 27 28 he does the thing with Curse, and it's the main story with Terry. 29 he's on the side of a street, and this kid sees him. He's like, "Oh hey man, I think you're dead." Like the kid throws him into this wagon and wheels him back home and kind of lets him hang out in the shed. You come to find out the kid's dad's abusive. Right? Him and his brother get beat up by the dad and all this stuff. Spawn steps in.
Not as funny as in the movie.
It's not funny at all. No, it's not funny at all. Like he actually beats on the little kid, and if the brother tries to intervene, the dad just beats on the kid harder.
Yikes!
It's dark as shit.
Yeah. More and probably more true to a grounded reality.
Yeah, and this is so he's in the south. So he lands in the south of the states.
Okay.
And basically, Spawn gets revenge on the dad by branding "I beat my kids" all over him and stuff. Like, he scares the shit out of him. And then he leaves, and the comic ends with the dad waiting for the kids to come back into this room with a gun. The older brother gets the gun and shoots the dad.
God
and that's
damn.
it. So it's like, okay, that's a little heavy.
Yeah.
That's fucking heavy. Okay, so then issue 30 is him making his way back up to Rat City.
You're only supposed to read one.
No, this is all
Fair
one
enough.
graphic novel. I read the graphic novel. That's it. So in 30, he ends up having to fight off the KKK.
Right.
That are yeah. This is like
heavy.
They actually end up hanging him from a tree. He comes back.
All right.
Kills them. He changes the leader into a black man.
Okay.
So that when the rest of the KKK come, they hang him.
Oh my gosh.
It's weird, and he's like protecting a farm. Like there's a black farmer.
Right.
He's protecting them, and then the next issue he gets back to Rat City.
So did you enjoy this?
I didn't really like that jump. Like, it was okay.
Right.
I was like, it's so because of the jump, like from the 27, 28 issues were really cool. And then there's like this jump that all of a sudden he's in the South, and he's dealing with all these like really heavy
racist
other problems. Like
right.
there's the child abuse and then racism. It's like,
well then,
wow, okay, let's go. And then all of a sudden 31, 32 go back to the story again. It's like, why did they compile these all together?
Finish the story, then do the side characters.
Yeah, just fucking
do one thing at a time.
Yeah, and it's right in the middle.
That seems to be Spawn's fucking.
That's what they do,
MO,
right? It's
like pulling
fucking
him out of
weird, man. And so 31, 32, I won't get into the whole details, but he's fighting like angels in heaven and stuff in this building in the city because they took his buddy.
Okay.
And this new Redeemer shows up, so who if the Redeemer is like this anti-Spawn from earlier, like you're getting into like comic convolution now, right? But it's back to the main, not the main, but a main storyline of the heaven versus hell thing, right? He ends up meeting God as an old, like in the form of an old lady,
right?
In this, there's a building in the city that represents.
This is already too long.
Yeah, this is fun, and this is like, I'm going all over the place. So we've got 2 issues about a government cover up. Then we got 2 issues of one shots that are really heavy. They're not bad, but it's just awkwardly placed. And then 2 issues of Heaven versus Hell.
Right.
I'm like, why did you compile this?
I don't know. Okay, so my question to you is how, based on what you've read and obviously watching the movie, how closely related do you feel they got the character Spawn from movie to, or from comic to movie?
He's way more. So in the comic book, I will say this though. At this point in 27 issues in, he's real buddy with. So with the homeless people in the alleyways, he's now friends with half of them, and the other half just don't want him there. Right. But he's like throwing his arms over them and stuff. Like, oh, you know, this is. Oh yeah, Al. They call him Al. Oh yeah. So that's. Excuse me. Nothing like the movie, because the movie, the homeless people don't even have personalities. No.
Well, there's the kid that can't eat a moldy sandwich.
Yeah, well, there's a kid getting
and then, and then the dad that slaps him.
And then in the HBO show, he hates them all. Right? So it's like, I know we're not talking much about the cartoon right now, but
clearly there's a connection.
I've seen all the origins now, the movie, the HBO show, and the comic book, and they're all different.
So you went across the mediums.
I went across the mediums.
It's next level shit. And nothing's cohesive.
In the HBO show, we should do something about that. But that first season is very good.
I kind of wish I went first for the comic.
Go ahead, your comic then.
Well, I only read 1 issue.
1 issue? I thought you read a graphic novel.
No, I read Hellboy in Mexico.
Oh, I thought it was a whole book. Okay.
2010 again. The story by Mike Mignola, who writes Hellboy, and then art by Richard Corbin. And again, I found this just because I liked the kind of look of the cover art, and found out that it was way more connected than I ever thought it would be. So I was like, pig and shit. I will say about the comic.
That's funny. You didn't mean
to. Just a happy accident. What I liked about this comic, vibrant colors, right? Because it's all taking place in Mexico, so you get a nice, like, stark contrast of the red Hellboy compared to kind of the dusty sands of Mexico and the feel of it. They had great foreground, background energy, I'll say. Like, there was enough negative space, but when something was happening in the background, it was minimal to the foreground, and it worked well. Like, whoever was pacing out the panels really knew what they were doing.
Oh, in the Spawn issues, it was Capullo drawing. It wasn't McFarlane.
It wasn't Spawn?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's a little different, that's all.
And then I'd like to think, although I'm not Mexican, it was the little touches that they did touch about Mexican culture was very true. They had like sugar skulls in the comic. There's a lot of religious ideologies and like epitaphs and like sculptures.
All those flowery luchadores things.
Santa Maria was all over the place. Luchadors were all over this comic.
There's a paperback, man, 150 pages.
Yeah,
it's not one issue. It's the same thing. It's just yours was cohesive. That's the difference.
Mine made sense to what I was watching, and then there's all this cerveza. So essentially, it starts with Hellboy and Abe Sapien in Mexico, and they're waiting for a pickup from RIPD.
Okay.
After finishing a job, they see this little hut out there, or Sapien sees it, and they walk in, and he sees a picture on the wall of because there's it's a broken down hut now, but there's all these pictures still up on the wall, and Sapien finds one of Hellboy hugging 3 luchadors. And immediately, like, Hellboy, you get the tone, right? He sits on like a stump and like smokes a cigarette, and he's in silhouette, and he's like, I got a story to tell you, right? I think he goes back to that memory.
Like a photograph. It's like a photo. Oh, okay.
And he goes back to that memory of how that photograph got taken.
Yeah.
And it's like shot for shot, exactly like the beginning of the Hellboy 2019 movie.
Oh, okay.
He's searching for Esteban in Mexico, who eventually becomes Camatazos, Man Bat.
Yeah.
I can't say that. Can't say it properly. Essentially, they're in. So Hellboy goes to Mexico. He meets these 3 luchadors who are trying to fight Diablo. He teams up with them. They think they fight Diablo, and like win. So they start drinking and like celebrate. They all crash because they're new buddies and friends. one of them, who's Esteban, goes out into like the night, still drunk, feeling high, mighty, and he sees this turkey like in the street. A turkey, but it's like red eyes, so it's possessed by the devil, and that's how he becomes like the man bat. Like they possess him off. It's a weird little thing, but it's so cool because it's you're getting the story, but it's Hellboy retelling the story, and he becomes possessed. So now Hellboy and the other two luchadors have to track down their missing friend. They track him all the way down to this luchador wrestling match, where they go in there and everyone's celebrating. Oh, the Hellboy's here, right? Like El Diablo, right? They're freaking out. He gets in the ring. He's like, Esteban. They start fighting.
So it's just like the movie.
Just like shot for shot, to the point that there's
Which is cool. It's
amazing,
really
right?
Cool.
So the fact that I found it, there's a panel where you see Hellboy have to impale Man-Bat on the ring post like in the movie, and I was like, God damn, this is exactly what I wanted, right? But obviously in the comic, he's like redrawn and like hates himself that he had to kill his his new friend. Yeah. That it ends. He ends the story that he's telling to Sapien with him drunk at like a bar, and Sapien's like, "What happened after that?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I just fucking blackout drunk." The last like 3 months after that are a blur, and the comic ends with R.I.P.D.'s helicopter coming down for them, and then them getting in for the next adventure.
So the whole comic is the whole story is just him retelling.
The last time he was in Mexico, right?
Which happened to be the intro to the movie.
Amazing. Pitch perfect. Cool. You get everything you want from Hellboy. You understand who he is, where he is, like how he... So I feel Hellboy is the greatest hero that has to be a reluctant hero or a villain. Like, there's no middle ground for him.
Right.
Like, for a lot of heroes or villains, they get a decision, or they can at least walk away. This is a dude that's so ingrained in who he is. He looks like a villain, or he looks like the devil, that he always has to choose. He can never turn it off. So this kind of story of like him wanting to be a hero, but inevitably be being the villain, because he kills his friend, but like in front of all this crowd of like people that thought they're gonna get a wrestling match. So he looks like a villain again. Like he can never really win.
So the one in the current day portion of the book, is he more like the permanent Hellboy or more like the Harbor Hellboy? What would you say?
And so based on this,
not in the flashback, in the book, like who, like is he more like Perlman?
He looks like more like Perlman.
Yeah.
But because it's such a shot for shot Mexico.
No, that part, yeah. But in the flat, because the way you're like, oh, he sits down and like starts to drag on his stogie, like that. I picture Perlman.
Yeah,
like that, right?
it looks like Perlman, but any emotions and any type of like feeling I got from
that's all Harbor.
I got from Harbor.
Right.
So like he looks like, and I'm pretty sure exchanging the story, like anytime there was a quip or like a funny line that he threw in there, you would get Perlman, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
they're like two halves of the same Hellboy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And the way that he's drawn looks so much more like how they made up Perlman than he does how they made up Harbor. But I love how like this entire or this one comic was just the basics of the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel
that's really cool. Yeah.
My favorite part of the movie was Mexico.
Where do you want the movies to go from here? Like for
Hellboy?
For Hellboy.
Well, clearly they wanted to bring Sapien in.
But it's got to happen, right? Maybe not.
I want another one.
Yeah.
It's not a bad. It's good enough that makes me.
And it's been around for so long. Yeah, that gives me so much they can mine.
That gives me hope that they can do it justice. Just take time with the things you need to take time with. Like if it takes you 3 years to write a good story, take 3 years to write a good story.
Don't rush it. Yeah.
Don't come here where you have a great cast and a great director, and then you don't have a vision of what you're gonna do with it, and then you have to find a way to bring back Ian McShane because you killed him off, and he was the fucking anchor to the movie, right? Like he was the gravitas. He had the voice. He's like, I do, like.
Because what's keeping Hellboy in the RPD
is him.
If McShane's not there, right?
It's his father figure, right? Yeah. And anytime he had like the scenes where it's Ian McShane and Harbor, like you feel like that like this for the first half, great emotion, great tonally. Yeah. For as much as you're trying to throw at me, because they were great at shifting from this is a serious moment where like you feel that he's isolated by himself to like, oh fuck, shit's real, I gotta put on my game face and be the Hellboy that everyone expects me to be. They fucking ran that amazingly for the first half, and then the second half they're just like, okay, we got to kill Ian McShane, we got to get the witch together and then kill
Yeah,
her.
and we got to make people care about the team, and yeah, it was.
And then CGI'd everything else. It's like, fuck you. If you're gonna do that, at least give me a 2.5 hour movie so you can give me time to get to that beat.
Get the character building.
You made it an hour and a half. It's like, fuck. Someone's looking at the clock like, we gotta edit down all this shit now and squeeze in shit. I rather you made this like a 2-parter or like a to be continued. Like you wanted us to get to the ending, and you were giving us the right path to get there, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, time jump, or like teleport. It's like, well, I'm missing all of this fucking shit that you were. Like...
You could tell there was some sort of issues going on behind it because it was weird.
So I'd love them to, like, in a perfect world, they do another movie, but they go back to halfway in that movie and be like, okay, the rest of that stuff didn't really happen. You didn't really die, or whatever MacGuffin you want to give me to keep those characters still around, and have like his surrogate unit of Daniel Kim and Dread Lady looking for Abe Sapien as another monster. Like maybe they just like we heard rumors about this dude, and they don't know if he's friend or foe, and then it's Hellboy playing off Abe Sapien. I was like, can I trust another monster kind of thing?
Yeah.
But I loved Harbor. I think Harbor was the best.
I thought he was great. Yeah.
The best decision.
Yeah.
If not Ian McShane.
Yeah, and it was weird. Like we said early on, it's just like I heard so many bad things about it. I was like, this really isn't.
They couldn't wait to
as bad
to boo this down.
Like it's not great, but it's not.
And really, it's
terrible.
only in comparison to the other two Hellboys, which isn't fair. But I get what you're doing.
Yeah, they were a long time ago too, right?
Yeah, and those are good movies, but those have those flaws too. Like there's flaws to those films, but at least they let the director and the story go the full distance. Like it seems like with because I think we have some sort of reviews going up for the Guillermo del Toro Hellboys, because those are great movies in itself.
We should get them. We don't have. Yeah,
they're on list. I guarantee you. I've put them on some stuff. His vision for the world that he was building and the story they want to put across, he got carte blanche. They let him do what he wanted to do, and so you get these like. Funny enough, Seth MacFarlane is a voice to one of the characters in I think the first one. He plays like
I didn't know that.
The time suit dude.
Yeah.
When we get there, so that's a funny, nice little link that we made. But there seems to be more trust from the movie studio to this director with what he wanted to make across. With the 2019 version, there doesn't seem to be any trust. And a lot of movie studio like, let me put my finger on this. Let's put more of this in. We don't have enough giant monsters doing giant monsters, and it just fucking tears it apart.
I'd like Neil Marshall to get another shot too. I don't want him to change director. He's a good director. Like I said, as for Spawn, with what MacFarlane was saying about the budget being as low as it is,
right?
I expect that means it's gonna be low on CGI and low on big cyborg robot enemies, right? Which is kind of cool. So if it's just Spawn trying to figure out where he fits in the world and like working against mobs and things like that, like how early one starts,
make him grounded, man.
Billy Kincaid isn't there, so in the
if you can blend the groundness of a David Nolan Batman and then give me enough kind of Dark League Justice, kind of like just you're creeping on the edge of knowing that there's a world that you don't understand, but this guy is your key to get to that world.
And it's interesting in the
and then sorry, maybe some Event Horizon, just weird fucking.
Well, I mean,
shit.
when we gotta do something with the HBO series, because in that first season everything's intertwined. Right. Even the things that you don't think are they kind of all connect.
Payback.
Excuse me.
Or maybe Spawn. Sorry to cut you. Maybe Spawn's not meant for a movie. Maybe he
may not be.
Maybe he's meant for a miniseries.
Yeah, he may not be, because there's a lot going on.
The characters that are so lived in, right? Like when you're reading the pages of them, like Clown and Violator because you spent so much time.
Clown and Violator is like in the comics. He was in that first volume. It made no fucking sense. He was going around pulling people's hearts out for no like I didn't get it. Like the reason why I didn't do volume 1 is because it was just really fucking weird. You could tell it was MacFarlane trying to find his way,
right?
And the writing really wasn't that good.
Okay,
it was kind of, and even he says it was kind of wishy-washy back then.
Right.
And the HBO series did everything he did in that comic book better for that first season. And like Billy Kincaid, who's the child killer in that, he has nothing. Like he's in one issue.
Right.
In the HBO series, he's an integral part of the plot. So they
don't know who they want their.
I feel like he was flying by the seat of his ass when he wrote the comics.
Right.
But in the...
It was just something new and cool.
Right, and he's kind of like, well,
And
I got the
hit.
character, here he is, this is how he's... Now we're just going to go
he
issue
definitely
for issue,
went
right?
backwards of like, I designed this character. Who is it? Oh, I don't know yet.
Well, yeah, he did. He designed it in high school, he says, right? In Calgary, good old Canadian. Yeah, he just...
That Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. You motherfucker. But, I mean, we've been fucking going on all this hell stuff.
Wait. I gotta find out who actually Seth MacFarlane was in one of the original.
You want to find us before we go?
Well, I've been talking about Seth MacFarlane like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I only really like American Dad.
Good choice.
It's not bad.
It's a good choice, yeah. No, I'm just saying it's a good choice out of his work. I don't like a lot of his stuff.
Really? You didn't like... And Cleveland Show was okay.
I never watched it. I had no interest. I'm not into Family Guy, man.
Well, did you hear me list Family Guy?
No, but Cleveland is from Family Guy, so
I know, but his show
is the old dude's funny.
He played Jonathan. That was Johnnin. That was anticlimactic.
Good job. Well, nobody cares.
Especially about that fact. Damn.
This segment is called Heroes from a Hat or Hero Draft, where we take two heroes from this hat and put them against each other in a fight or competition. And since we're at round 2, le deuxième round.
Whoa. Where's this double language going on here?
Since we're at round 2, we're racing. That's what we're doing.
Means?
Yeah, round 2 means we're racing.
That was that whole French build-up?
Yes.
The French called racing
in a
les incompetents.
In a random type of race.
Was that your French laugh too?
Yes.
Don't look. No peeking.
In a random type of race, we're gonna take these heroes.
Wait, choose that.
I've got one.
This. Okay, now
Gang
we're gonna
takes
choose.
the other.
Now we're gonna choose
the random race.
The racing. Okay, I got that.
Yes.
What are we looking at first? The hero?
No, we're looking at the race. The race is
swimming. Ah.
Okay,
wait. Breaststroke, backstroke.
Front stroke. Let's keep it simple.
Freestyle.
Freestyle. There you go. Freestyle. You do what you want.
One way or one way back?
One in there and back.
Or is this like the ocean? Is it like free? Like is this
around
the world in 80 days?
Olympic swimming pool. No, Olympic swimming pool.
German Olympics or Canadian/American Olympics?
I don't care.
Well, German, you get to use steroids.
I don't care.
I mean, come on. So I chose Doctor Strange.
And I've got Nova.
I win.
So Nova's gonna fire himself out like a fucking cannon and just across the top of the water.
Of all, I'm a doctor. I take some 1970s acid and expand my mind, expand my stroke. I can go through like parallel universes and like dimensions and shit. So technically, I don't even have to touch the water.
I'm flying fast though. I'm flying fast.
I don't have to touch the water.
Neither do I. I'm flying above it.
So not only can I transfer through different dimensions, I can throw you into other dimensions too.
You wouldn't do that though.
I'm a doctor.
That's what is that?
I have a hippopotamus oath. I think it's Hippocratic.
Yeah.
That was the one joke that didn't land.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I have an oath to be a doctor. And I feel
to save people.
Save myself.
To save people.
It's doctors first.
Save others.
Then the people. Then animals. Then sandwiches. Sometimes hot dogs. So I won.
So you're just gonna throw me into another fucking dimension.
Yeah, and swim. Well, I mean fly.
You're a son of a bitch.
I'm wearing a lot of velvet.
You're a son of a bitch.
I'm not like Namor. I didn't come Speedo ready. Who should have been in this competition?
You would have killed him.
Maybe.
Although Strange would have just thrown him in there. Dimension 2.
Dimension round 2. Doctor Strange wins.
On to the next.
Wait, don't I have that Eye of Agamotto?
Yeah. The time reverse thing. We didn't even talk about that.
You fucked, bro. You fucked in so many different ways that my mind's not even open to it. I got a time gem, son.
Dormammu.
This is Dormammu. I've come to fight you. I've come to face you. Dormammu. I've come to face you. Dormammu. I've come.